What's up, all? Friday the 16th, and getting ready to go into an interesting weekend. I got some shop time tomorrow. Also going to take my wife and kids up to, it's the first time I'm going to call it a staycation. I'm going to catch hell from my staff because they like to make they like to do those, but they make fun of me if I'm going to pull the same thing. But we're going to do that, get a little bit of time away. My wife is, of course, charge nurse at a hospital, and it's been something. I mean, this is a very, very, very tough woman. She's done rescue with me. She's been on the hills doing some crazy stuff. She has rappelled in and out of helicopters, bandaged people up and yanked them out. She was on my technical rescue team with me. She was my spotter as I was the off-road rescue unit leader. She was, my guide out in the hills. I mean, just really tough woman, and the stuff that they're taking on right now in these hospitals that you don't hear about. She comes home pretty beat up. So we're getting a little bit of time away, spend a little time together, which is going to be awesome because we've just been going. She's been working a lot of shifts. I've been at this 24/7. The amount of business we've got going on, just sincerely appreciate that. And we're just putting in the hours. Not team members, I'm seeing them on in the middle of the night, trying to keep up, because it's that important to us to be sure that you get your investment properties, that you have a future. And, I'm trying to make sure that they get a little bit of time away. Ellen was able to take some time away this last week, get a little bit, and she came back still just overwhelmed. But it's the nature of where we are, and we're going to do the best we can to keep up. And we appreciate the clemency that people give us and the patience that they've got. So let's talk market real quick. Actually, before we get into market, behind me, we've talked about before the Operation Underground Railroad. I actually have a meeting with them later on today, talk a little bit more about the campaign. $50 for every closed transaction. If you go to my website, aaron.chapman.com, scroll down, you'll be able to see, click on the donate, just $50. Every time you close an investment property, even if it's not with me, go in there. Let's keep pushing this. I want to see $250,000 a year go over there, and we can do that. That's a possibility. That's not a possibility. That's a probability if everybody jumps in. It's only $50 every time you close a transaction, and that $50 will come back very, very fast. Believe me, you'll never, ever, ever miss it. I've never missed a single dime that I put towards a good cause. I just haven't. In fact, I think I've gotten 20 dimes every time I invested one dime into an awesome cause. So remember, Operation Underground Railroad, aaron.chapman.com, scroll down. You'll look for this right behind me, and there'll be a donate button there. And it'll take you to their site, not to ours. You'll go to their site, and you'll be able to just go straight to the campaign. All right, let's go to the market. Market is actually continuing to scrape that bottom, like we talked about some time ago. It's continued to hold within that trend line. We came across that bottom. We're coming back up. It's amazing. We opened above the 10-day moving average, which I thought was going to be really difficult to do. I thought we're going to, because you see how many times we hit that 10-day moving average, and it's just continued to, that trend line has continued to be a barrier. Well, we opened above it. We're sitting just right below resistance and that trend line. So since we opened above it, maybe hopefully we'll close above it, or that possibility. Some of the things we've seen in the last few days, the unemployment numbers have been very bond favorable, very stock negative, because they've been a lot worse than what they expected. So we're seeing those things having an impact on the economy and pushing it toward, from what I am seeing, money towards bonds. But we also know that the majority of the money coming from bonds is still the Fed. So the Fed is not going to be like driving it up like they did. They're going to try and keep it some sort of form of normality. But we're going to see how much investment capital goes into those pools. One thing I was going to tell you about that I mentioned in the last conversation about rents, the average rents going down nationally. I was speculating off the top of my head that it had to do with some of these markets that are forcing the national numbers to go down. And I did get, Sean, buddy, appreciate you. It was a comment on the last video where Sean had kicked in. He's from New York City. He said, hey, his rent went down by 17%. The new negotiated rent on his apartment, 17%. So think about that. If that's happening out there, double-digit percentages is in places like New York and Manhattan, and with extremely dense populations. That's the other thing to think about. The very dense populations are experiencing this. The mass exodus out of California, I haven't gotten any feedback on that one yet. But if that's the case, well, no wonder we've seen a national average drop. But I've been hearing in some of our markets, the South, the Midwest, we're seeing rents continue to go up 3%, 4%. I've heard 5% in some places. So just know that the national numbers are very, very skewed to heavily dense populated areas, because that heavily dense populated area, and they're moving those numbers, you're going to see a lot of that massive movement is going to impact these areas don't have the population density that you're going to see there. So that's something to consider. And that's also going to drive people away from trying to play in the market that you want to play in, possibly. So it gives you more opportunity. So strike when you have opportunity. One other thing I definitely need to get into is expectations. The expectations we have today. I've got a couple of negative reviews lately. I haven't had very many of those, but I also got to consider this year we've closed 998 loans as of yesterday. 998 loans so far this year. That's ridiculous. Last year was like 725 or something. We're at 998. And that was by October 15th of this year. That to me is amazing. I'm probably going to end up having a couple people not extremely happy with what the expectation was. And I'm trying to make sure everybody knows what the expectation is. You know, we've got a system here where you're going to be dealing with different people at different stages. This individual was not happy with that. They were of the impression they were going to be able to reach me anytime they wanted to. I want to be that. I used to be able to be that, but that's not possible. I've got Samantha, I've got Chloe. When you email me, Samantha or Chloe will reach out to you. They will schedule the time. Unfortunately, that wasn't good enough in that scenario. I do know this person was able to reach a team member pretty consistently. I know Scotty Bear is on my team now. Scotty Bear is handling a lot of rate questions for the states he's licensed in. I got several others. Ellen's licensed in a bunch of states. Carla is licensed in a bunch of states. Sandra's licensed in a bunch of states. I've got coverage. So we can discuss rates for you. If you can't get a hold of me, that's something we put in place this year. But unfortunately, you talk to somebody else. Just know there's people in place to make sure that you are taken care of. If that's going to frustrate you, if it's going to make you unhappy to the extent that you're going to dislike doing business with us because you can't reach one person, the same person, anytime at any given date, because my calendar is loaded every 30 minutes, my calendar's crazy, then we may not be the best for you. And I'm just going to say that we're going to do the best we can. I got 28 employees. I'm hiring 2 more. You know, and you're going to deal with other people, unfortunately. It's just get familiar with the system if you want to work with us. We want to work with you, but we want you to want to work with us as well. We don't want to put you through a state of misery. So just know that we have a process, we have systems, we got people in there. There was also a complaint saying that we were $200 more expensive than another lender. I can't speak to what it is for every other lender out there. I know that when it comes to rates and it comes to costs, we try and be as in line or better than the market as much as we can with the massive staff that I've got and the massive undertaking we're taking, and trying to make sure we keep costs as low as we possibly can. But we've set our costs. We don't have a whole lot of movement in there. It's what it is, period. That's what I've set with the with everything I published. So I set with the firm. I know that, you know, the feds look at that. They want to be sure that you have consistency, that you're not making any adjustments, that everybody gets the same treatment for everyone, guys. I want to give you the best treatment I possibly can, the best costs I can, with the best people I can, to ensure that you're successful in your business. But you also got to be okay with our system. If you're not, I understand. I fully understand. And I wish you the greatest of luck in what you're doing. But I also really, really, really want to be that person that's helping you to be successful in what it is you do. Schedule those times with me and do those high-end spitballing calls about your business, help you get your mind where it needs to be successful. And then I've got team members to do the nuts and bolts of the deal, because the deal is going to be what the deal is. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your donation and jumping in there on that one. And we'll talk to you again on Tuesday.